Good to have you back. If you're just joining us, this is Firecrackers and we're just about to get started. The topic that has gotten our attention first today is the one of Edo PDP governorship primary election. We have the situation whereby two primary elections were conducted, like almost side by side. So I have with me here in the studio Dr. Adetokunbo Pierce, the PDP chieftain. Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us on the show. Okay, all right, so let us start with the topic we have at hand. We know that Edo PDP probably had some party crisis because there was a misunderstanding that ensued that was between the governor and his deputy, that's Godwin Obaseki and Philip Shaibo. But the impression we had was they have cleared the air and everything is back to normal. But how come for the primary election we are still having something like this, that there is a split? We have one faction loyal to the state governor and then we have another faction loyal to the deputy governor.
It's unfortunate that these things happen, but this is politics in reality. Sometimes aspirants fail to accept the process. The process in this case is first and foremost, the party would have its party primaries where they will elect the delegates. In this case, 3 ad hoc delegates from each ward. Once that is concluded, the list will be sent to the National Working Committee at the headquarters of the party in Abuja. And then the party will get ready for the election, the primaries proper of the aspirants. The problem started with the issue of delegates. The group that is the aspirants that were not interested in working with the governor claimed that the delegate election itself was faulty. But the umpire for all of this eventually would have to be the National Working Committee. There has to be an umpire if you're playing a game. So the National Working Committee accepted the list of the delegates and then formed a committee to go and supervise the election, to go and conduct the election. And then the committee was set up, and the committee at first was headed by Governor Makinde, and then due to some misunderstanding, the governor said he wasn't informed on time and so on. So another person was appointed chairman of that committee. It was a formal committee constituted by the National Working Committee of the party. That committee went to Edo State and conducted the election. And first and foremost, it is that committee, the group that has conducted the primaries and sent the list that has been accepted will now give the National Committee an address, a location for the primaries. That location would be communicated to INEC so that on the day of the primaries, the location is where the committee would go, it's where the delegates would go, it's where the aspirants would go, and that is where the INEC would go so that they can have a formal and organized election process. Now, Shaibu never had any of these. From the beginning, this delegate list was never sent to Abuja. Secondly, he never had an approved location. As you can see, he conducted the election in his office. It is obvious that he doesn't seem to have any grounds to stand on.
And well, with what played out, we could see in the reports that was played shortly, he was very jubilant. Would we say that he perhaps was not aware of the process and implication of what went on, because his joy was so pure, because it seemed, because there are also rumors that well, it is opined that if he did not get the direct primary, that is a primary election, then perhaps Edo State might lose. That when it comes to PDP might lose Edo State.
Well, you know, if you say he appeared joyous, I would say that is Nollywood, that is acting. There's no way, and he's a deputy governor, there's no way he doesn't understand the process. He was simply fighting against the process. What happened in Edo, I don't know if you're aware. The zonal chairman of the PDP, Chief Dan Obi, had the support, or rather, gathered the support of many of the aspirants who said they would not support any candidate that Governor Obaseki brought up. But this is not a question of, you know, in a democracy, you don't say if you are not elected. I mean, you have to go for election. And if you emerge, then you are there. If you don't emerge, you say, if PDP doesn't choose you, PDP doesn't choose anybody. The process brings out a candidate. So what he's saying is strange for a deputy governor to say if the party doesn't choose him, the party will lose. It's obvious, therefore, that he wants to work against the party if he is not the candidate. And he cannot be the candidate if he doesn't go through the process and win the primaries. So, unfortunately, what is playing out here, which people in the party and people involved in politics understand, is the old rift between the G5 and the party. Unfortunately for Shaibu and Danobi, that fight, that division doesn't exist anymore as it used to be during the campaign. There is no more G5 per se. And unfortunately, Obi and some of his people are still carrying that rift, and they want to make it a permanent problem for PDP, but PDP is grown beyond that now. We are looking forward to bringing the party together and get ready to communicate with the people what we can do as a party, differently from what is happening in the APC administration of today, that will bring a better quality of life to Nigerians. That's what we are looking for, and that's what we should be doing, all of us, including former deputy governor, for God's sake. So it's unfortunate. But what has transpired now is a good example of the way genuine and truthful commitment to the process becomes victorious. Because what has happened in Edo State is that we went through a lot of rough times before we got to these primaries. Obaseki had to struggle hard to get the candidate he's supporting to emerge. Obaseki could not by himself say he brought up a candidate. No, you support your candidate, I support my candidate, and whoever is able to convince the delegates to support their candidate will be successful. So, the PDP family should be happy now that at least we have a situation where we have gone through the process. The members of the party in the state understand that there was no shortcut and nobody was forced to vote for anybody, and nobody is saying that they have to be the candidate by hook or crook and they have to be chosen. No. The process has emerged, has been gone through, and somebody has emerged, and that's where we are.
Okay, it is not new whenever we have issues like this when there's conflict between the governor and the deputy governor. We saw similar thing happen to in Oyo State recently. So if these things keep going on, if the result would it not be dire for the party itself? When it seems as if they don't have a united front, would that not probably discourage the people?
There is no party in the world where you have total unity amongst the members. All you can hope for is that you have gone through the process in a genuine, truthful manner without pretending or manipulating the process. Once you do that, you see, the people always understand if you're truthful with them, if you're honest with them. And the rift, again, when you have a rift in the party, it depends on the strength of the adversaries. The way I see it now, I think that the governor's group, with the emergence of Dr. Ighodalo, I think they will be able to convince. I mean, even look at the caliber of candidature. In my opinion, from what we have seen, just the delivery of the two men, you can see that Ighodalo seems to be a superior candidate. Vast experience in the private sector and in community development. So, with that, all you have to do in a democracy is go and campaign. Tell the people what you can do. And now, the only thing Shaibu can do is to play the devil's advocate, to play the spoiler. Because he can't campaign for governor since he didn't get the mandate, he didn't win the primaries. So, if Ighodalo goes around campaigning, telling the people what he can do for them, as opposed to what the APC has done in other areas that we have seen, building on what the governor, Obaseki, has done, tremendous work, and keeps doing for the people of Edo State. If he builds on that, I think that we will retain, PDP will retain Edo State, and we'll hope and pray that Shaibu and the others who are aggrieved now will come back to the party and have a role to play in the party. You don't have to be governor to play a role in the party. You don't have to be deputy governor. There are so many other things. But when you fight and you don't look back, I think only those who fight and move away live to fight another day. You fight like a unit, you may get killed in the war front. So I would pray that Ighodalo will reach out to all these people, to these aggrieved members of the party, so that he can bring them in and they can campaign together and they can let the people of Edo know.
But do you not feel that Obaseki too perhaps have some peacemaking to make? Because some people are of the opinion that the reason for the rift between him and his deputy was because he found out that the deputy too was nursing ambition to be the governor of Edo State. So if peace were to reign in the party, does it too not have some probably peacemaking to do?
Before now, there were a lot of efforts to bring the two of them together, and those efforts did not succeed. I will not blame one or the other person, but now that things have got to where they are now, they have to talk again. Certainly the governor has to reach out, not only to Shaibu, but to many other people. You see, because don't forget that Obaseki came from APC. The people that brought him into PDP and helped him, worked with him to emerge as the governor, the PDP governor in Edo State, some of them are now fighting against him, like Shaibu, like Obi, his zonal chairman, who I believe was the DG of his campaign. So, there is that problem of people in the party who have been in the party longer than you, who feel that they own the party, that they are the custodians of the party. And then when you come, they begin to feel threatened that you are getting too powerful. But you see, the way this democracy is structured, at least in our country, the governor has so much influence, so much power. He can impress people. If he does a lot of good work, people say, this governor, we're going to support him and his projects. And whoever he tells us is good, we will support that person. So that's the dilemma now. People have to be humble. People have to be forgiving. And I would say that Obi, Shaibu, and so many people who are aggrieved should remember that they only have PDP as a party, is a family, a political family. Don't get so upset that you throw away the baby with the bathwater. Don't destroy the PDP. Don't try to do it. People who have tried, I don't need to name them. Right now, they're in limbo politically. You go to fight on principle, but when it gets to a certain point in politics, you either back away, either you compromise, or you remain neutral. But if you take a stand and say, I will destroy my own party, I think it will be suicidal politically.
All right, thank you so much for that.